Let's talk about structuring. So the first and most important thing that we'll talk about today, and if there's one thing you need to remember, is what the thesis is. Your thesis in your personal statement is the main argument that you're making. It's the heartbeat of your personal statement. It's one clear sentence. It directly answers what you want to study and why, and it serves as the focus of the rest of the personal statement. Every other letter, word, and sentence in the personal statement has one purpose in life, and that is to support your thesis. So really what we're talking about here is the heartbeat of your entire personal statement that you'll be submitting to universities. And it should answer directly what you want to study and why. And that, the rest of the essay, the essay or the personal statement structure all revolves around the thesis. So when we think about a typical well-structured personal statement, there's the introductory paragraph, there's a set of supporting paragraphs, and then there's a closing paragraph. The way I like to kick off the introductory paragraph is with a setup, which is 2 to 3 sentences that introduce your personal statement. It could be a relevant short story, it could be a brief statement about why you're excited about the course of study, but it's just sort of something to get the reader, the admissions officer, interested in what you're about to talk about. And then you're going to hit them with the thesis. And that I make as the last sentence of the first the introductory paragraph. Again, one sentence which summarizes the main argument of your personal statement, what you want to study, and why. And as I said, it should be the last sentence of the introductory paragraph. That way it's clear and it's to the point. You may have 2, 3, 4 supporting paragraphs depending on how you want to structure your personal statement. But each supporting paragraph starts with a topic sentence. And that topic sentence is basically the main point of the supporting paragraph. And it's also a sentence that supports your thesis. So it has 2 roles. One, it supports your thesis. It's one of the sub-arguments to your thesis. And 2, it summarizes and it basically tells the reader what the rest of this paragraph is going to be about. And after the topic sentence, you're going to have, let's say, around 4 to 6 sentences that support the paragraph's topic sentence. And it's providing details, examples, experiences. It's going into the kinds of details that people want to read to understand what your topic sentence is about and what your thesis is about. So this is where you start to go into detail. Okay, but always try to tie it back to the implications of the details, how it ties back to you, how it ties back to your interest in the course you want to study in university. Once you're done with your supporting paragraphs, you'll wrap up the personal statement with a closing paragraph, which should be short. It could even be 2 sentences long. You start off the closing paragraph with a brief restatement of your personal statement and what the arguments you've been making. Maybe reflecting on the implications of what you've talked about. And then you wrap up the entire personal statement with 1 to 2 sentences closing off the personal statement. Typically, it could be a forward-looking sentence thinking about the implications of what the personal statement means for you going forward and how it summarizes your aspirations. I'm sharing here what I call the Stutter personal statement. And this is an applicant who wants to study writing in university and is going to spend this personal statement talking about why he's passionate about the subject and how he's passionate about the subject and why he wants to study writing in university in order to become an author after university. So I would, if I were you, I would spend a couple of minutes, and feel free to pause the video, but spend a couple of minutes reading through this personal statement, and then we're going to deconstruct it together. Let's look at the structure of the Stutter personal statement. So the introductory paragraph starts off with a setup in which the writer, who's the applicant, says, I fell in love with writing at the age of 12 after I developed a persistent stutter that took years to overcome. During that time, writing served as my refuge, allowing me to communicate with the world without being judged for my perceived flaw. So the applicant is telling us just a quick short story about why he fell in love with writing. And then he hits us with the thesis. I'm applying to study writing in university because I am passionate about the subject and wish to contribute to society as an author. It's straight, plain language, directly answers the question of what you want to study in university and why. He says he wants to study writing, he's passionate about the subject, and he wants to use that as a way to become an author in the future. We won't go through all the body paragraphs of this Stutter personal statement, but let's look through the second one. The purpose of this body paragraph is for the applicant to demonstrate how his academics reveal his passion and suitability to study writing in university. He talks about, and the topic sentence is, because of this personal experience, being the stutter that he developed, I've dedicated my academic coursework to writing. So now as a reader, I know that the rest of this paragraph is going to be focused on how the applicant's academic achievements and history show his passion for writing. And the applicant here talks about, the fact that he's doing higher level English as part of his IB diploma program, how he's enjoyed that class, how he's scored among the top 10% of his class, and that he's won his school's fiction writing award twice, how he's serving as a tutor for students who are learning English as a second language, so on and so forth. But you can see that he's basically telling the university, look, not only am I telling you I want to study writing in university and that I'm passionate about it, I've also demonstrated it through my academic coursework and achievements. In the closing paragraph, the applicant just restates and says that developing the stutter that he developed changed everything, but losing it changed nothing. Meaning that because he developed his stutter, he fell in love with writing. But once he overcame the stutter, he was still in love with writing. And then he closes off the entire personal statement by saying, I'm as passionate about writing today as I ever was. And I bring this passion to your university, your writing program, and eventually to society as a whole. So it's kind of a forward-looking statement. You should spend 15 to 20 minutes now trying to write your thesis. Again, decide which university course you wish to pursue, whether it's mathematics or history or economics or English or writing. And I want you to write one sentence, which is the thesis. And I want you to answer why, what you want to study and why you want to study this course in university. Don't try to put too much detail. Just be direct and to the point. And afterwards, we will go on to outlining, which will include this thesis. So just spend the next 15 to 20 minutes thinking about what you want to write as your thesis.